A warm welcome. I'm Uta. I'm working for Hydrogen Moves. I'm very proud to organize together with a great crew the GTI Hydrogen Investors Tour. We had good information about 3 of the main German energy regions, and I'm here now in the breakout session about research and education. So warm welcome to everybody who is interested to ask questions and to discuss. It's near lunchtime in Europe, but we will take time to answer your questions and to discuss with you. And we have experts from every region with us, which I would like to present shortly. There is from the central German coal region, there's Florian Tamm from HYPOS, the Hydrogen Power Storage and Solution East Germany Association. There is also from the central German coal region, Sebastian Büttner from the Bauhaus University. Then we have from the Lausitz, we have Mr. Gregor Swaschka, who joined us. And then we have from, I've forgotten somebody from the Rhenish coal region. Is Dr. Robert Keller with us. I don't know, Irma is taking care on questions. She will send us all the questions from people who are joining us. Irma, if you have any questions, please feel free to send them to us. But on the other hand, I think there are some people after the live stream, because the live stream just finished. Maybe they will have a little break, take something to drink or something like that. Then if you could, everybody just present you very, very shortly, what are you doing in your region and what are you doing with hydrogen? Just a few words. Mr. Keller, would you like to start? Because you were the last region also was presented.
Yes, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me well and see me. Okay, great. So mastered the first task. I am Robert Keller. I work at RWTH University at the Chair for Chemical Process Engineering. I'm chief engineer here and responsible for a group of PhD students who all work with electrochemical technologies, electrochemical process engineering. And so in this sense, I'm personally very much involved in hydrogen research, but also education at the university level. One example, maybe a good example from our university as an entire entity would be that we're successful in obtaining a grant in the BMBF initiative, the Hydrogen Clusters for Future. And with this hydrogen cluster, we look at the entire hydrogen supply chain from production over transportation, storage, and utilization with different partners at university level, but also a lot with different partners from the industry. And this is very important for us on this project because we really want to bring products to the market. We want to be fast in achieving this. And so we created this network to also couple the different sectors, users, but also the applicants of hydrogen production, storage, utilization. And we hope to do this many more times. And so we also at RWTH have a Center for Hydrogen Systems, which basically bundles all the expertise we have at university level. But we are, of course, also connected to our partners at Forschungszentrum Jülich, as they were also mentioned before. Additionally, with the Brainergy Park and the new created Helmholtz Center for Sustainable Hydrogen Infrastructure. So we hope that we can create many more interesting projects with partners across the world.
Yeah, thank you very much. And how about at the Bauhaus University in Weimar? How are you working together with the industry and with hydrogen. What are you doing on research and education for the hydrogen economy, for the future hydrogen economy?
Okay, thank you for the introduction. My name is Sebastian Büttner, and I work at the Bauhaus University in Weimar at the professorship Energy Systems. And our main research is in the field of energy systems with hydrogen. And we initiate the H2L project in Thuringia, where we like to develop with our partner companies and so on parts for a new energy system on the base of hydrogen. And it's very decentralized because Thuringia is much smaller companies, not that the bigger one, and there we see our field of development. Okay.
Thank you very much. Then a few information maybe from the Central German region. We have Florian Tamm from Hypos, and you are working very strongly together with industry and with research institutes, if I'm right.
Thanks, Jutta, for introducing Hypos. In a few words, my name is Florian Tamm, representing Hypos. Hypos is a green hydrogen network established almost 10 years ago with a BMBF funding of over 45 million. And we started almost 10 years ago with all the R&D projects here in this region of Saxony, Anhalt, Saxony, and Thuringia. Sebastian Büttner and the Bauhaus University is one of our partners in the last years, and they really established some further projects like H2L in Thuringia, which I'm very happy of. And Hypos is a network of over 160 members, 1/3 R&D institutions of this region and the 3 Bundesländer here, also small and medium-sized companies and industry companies. And as Hypos, we combine these potentials to put the R&D results into action, and that's our task we are doing now. Thank you.
Thank you. We have research on one side and education at the other side, and we have from a research institute from the Lustation area, we have Mr. Zwaszka with us. Please present yourself and your work at Fraunhofer, please.
Hello, thank you for the introduction. Yeah, my name is Gregor Zwaszka and I work for the Fraunhofer Institute für Werkzeugmaschinen und Umformtechnik, EBU. And I'm designing and setting up the Hydrogen Lab in Görlitz together with my colleagues, which is designed to be a research, industrial scale research platform for applied hydrogen technologies. So this is a lengthy phrase for saying we aim at improving the technological readiness level of existing technologies from electrolysis to purification, compression, storage, and utilization. And we also want to be a testing and certification center. And so our goal is not so much fundamental research, but more applied studies, which is basically the Fraunhofer model. And this is the Hydrogen Lab in Görlitz, and the IWU in general also has more activities concerned with hydrogen. For example, we're also participating or leading a consortium that is in the H2 Giga national program, which is focused on building a scalable factory for PEM electrolysis devices.
Thank you very much. And we have a couple of participants in the sessions, but there seems to be actually a little bit shy, or maybe they would like more about you before asking questions. Hydrogen, today everybody's talking about it, but mostly you are working already a long time on hydrogen. Could everybody of you tell us a little bit when you were created and since when you are working with hydrogen in your region? May I ask the Rhenish region to start? Do you know a little bit since when the activities on hydrogen are ongoing at the university?
That's a very good question. I cannot give an exact answer on this.
Long time, if
I'm sure
right.
it has been a long time because, yeah, this is a very large university with a lot of experts. And I mentioned our clusters for future before, where we did cover different aspects of production, distribution, storage, and so on. And so we also have had research in these multiple disciplines for a long time. And some things come and go in waves in the in research. Of course, many of you know this, and hydrogen has been a topic before, sometimes not so hot as today, but there were always activities. And since I'm talking for the entire region also, Forschungszentrum Jülich has very long expertise in electrolysis with many partners in Germany, Europe, and across the world. And RWTH the same, and our partners across the Rhenish region also. So I cannot give you an exact number, but I can say that hydrogen has always been a topic, not so widespread as today maybe, but yeah, we have always worked on this.
Yeah. How about in the Central German coal region? HYPOS was created 2013, something like that, if I'm right?
Yeah, that's right, Uta. The Central region, Central Germany region has a long tradition with hydrogen. I think almost 100 years or some decades, older than me, I would say. So that was a starting point for HYPOS almost 10 years ago with the initiative to get this BMBF funding, and this was the point for involving these hydrogen companies and research institutions to moderate or to initiate the switch from natural gas to green hydrogen, and that's where we started almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, and how about in the Alsatian region?
So, as has been mentioned before, the history with hydrogen is also quite old, but I will mostly focus on the IWU. And so for our institute, hydrogen began to be a topic in the 90s with fuel cell cars coming up. So our institute has a long and extensive background on the automotive sector. And so we used fuel cell cars as the first entry into the hydrogen sector. And from then on, there was a little hiatus, but then it really, I guess this is true for every region, really kicked off in the last few, let's say 5 years. So hydrogen always was an interesting topic, but it really interest and funding really skyrocketed, let's say, past 2017.
Okay, yeah. And then we have two subjects in our breakout session. We have research at the one side, industry-related research, and we have also education. And there would I like to ask the people who work in the universities, who are linked to universities, what are the universities doing actually to prepare really skilled workers for the future hydrogen economy? Because during the live stream, this was one of the most important points also, where they said what the investors need are really skilled professionals. I think in Aachen and also in Weimar and also in the other regions, the universities create also new labs to help the industry and to bring really skilled people to the industry. Could somebody tell something about it?
I mean, I can try. This is a very broad topic. I mean, it's difficult to say hydrogen. We need skilled workers in hydrogen because this is such a broad field. So you can contribute to the field being a chemist or a mechanical electrical engineer. You can focus on fabrics, textile, pressure vessels, and so it's very hard to pinpoint like what type of education do you need, because if you're passionate about a certain topic or hydrogen in specific, you can contribute to advance this field with nearly every education, I would say. And so this is also what you realize when you talk to people. So for example, I'm an electrochemist by training, and I work together exclusively with engineers. But yeah, so this is as long as you're passionate about and really put your head to it, I think you can contribute to it.
Okay, so you need passion, and then you will find a way in the university to get the information and the contacts you need.
I will pass this question on, but my short answer would be yes.
Yes. How about
I can continue, because I think Mr. Saska mentioned very important dimensions we have to also look at when we look at education. So we have the individual faculties, mechanical engineering maybe, or electrochemists, chemists, and so on, who have always had some graduate or undergraduate courses at university level concerning the topic of hydrogen. But now, since we're moving to a hydrogen economy, we also need to establish courses who train our students in this topic on the entire field and entire level we have to look at. And in Aachen, for example, we have, since last year, we have created a summer school for interested students where they can really work hands-on on a case study for a hydrogen economy. And they get a couple of lectures across the disciplines for hydrogen generation and so on. And then they basically work on establishing a hydrogen economy in a very local environment where they have to look at different aspects. So this is one aspect of the training at university level, and at the moment, different initiatives also to create courses just focused on the hydrogen topic, which can then be applied to multiple disciplines. But we also look at the needs of industry, of course, because there's also a need for training at companies who work with hydrogen or who will switch to work with hydrogen. And in this regard, we established also with partners the so-called high school, which offers multiple days of training in the hydrogen sector for companies, for example. So we have different tools we can use for different target groups.
I would like to step further to have a look at Central Germany and Hypers, what we do concerning this topic. It's not only a topic of this academic bubble, I would say. We should avoid this academic bubble of green hydrogen. And that we also have to look at some education topics like in schools, etc. And therefore, a lot of partners also saw this as a new challenge in this region. It's also, I think, the same.
But I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. Have you ever considering recovering waste heating during the hydrogen process? Have you ever considered recovering waste heating during the hydrogen process? Is this something?
Mr. did you want to answer, or?
This is a question.
I can also.
The question. There could be different answers from every region.
Okay, Mr. Keller, you like to answer, or?
Yes, I can answer, or I can start maybe. Yes, we have considered this, and especially if we look at process chains or power-to-X processes, for example, we need to look at heat integration to make them as efficient as possible. So this is always on our mind. And so the brief answer is yes, we do this. And a specific example would be in a power-to-X process chain.
Maybe I can say anything. At the Bauhaus University, we work in an institute with different professorships, and it's turned around the themes of future infrastructure systems, and waste management is also a theme. And we used to integrate the hydrogen systems in all these topics. We deal with the mobility system, we deal with sewage treatment, waste management, and energy. And in all these different infrastructure systems, we like to integrate the hydrogen generation and use. The waste use is one case, but maybe it's not the best case for hydrogen, because we generate heat and electricity from waste we better use direct in our systems.
Perhaps I can also add a little bit. Thank you for the
Yeah,
perspective.
for sure.
Not so much on our own research, but in general, perhaps this is of interest. Lots of hydrogen processes, and for example, PEM or alkaline technologies are at a low temperature level. And so waste heat utilization is somewhat difficult because the temperature level is quite low. And so there's also technologies for hydrogen utilization or generation available that run at a high temperature. And there, for example, these solid oxide technologies, which are as of now more a niche product, but their waste heat utilization is much more promising because you can recover heat at a few hundred degrees centigrade. But with most low temperature technologies, when you, for example, run an electrolyzer or a fuel cell around 50 to 80 degrees Celsius, then waste heat utilization is possible, but it's not so useful. So you can think of some cases where you can use this heat, for example, for heating purposes in a home or home situation. But for example, using 60 degree air in industry is rarely promising, I would say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tam. Are there any activities with waste heating in your region?
My colleagues mentioned everything I know about it. So.
Okay, well, just you know, if I'm right, there are nearly everywhere there are Fraunhofer institutes in all the regions, and you're all working strongly with them together, if I'm right. Also in the central German coal region, if I saw it right. The Fraunhofer, they are not far away from the industry. Could you tell us a little bit more, Mr. Tam, about how the cooperation between research and industry works in your region?
Well, I just can't talk or speak for Fraunhofer institutes because there are so many. I'm not working for Fraunhofer.
Yes, I know.
But of course, you're right. There are a lot of companies and Fraunhofer institutes in Germany and also international companies, I would say. And how it works between research and institutions and companies, it's really a starting point with somebody starting with an idea. Sometimes it's an institute or an R&D institution, or it's a company. And we as Hypos try to connect them. We did this the last years with our different events and personal talks, etc. And try to look where's the gap, who need partners, and what competences need this or should this partner should have. And this is our job at Hypos the last years and also for the future to connect these partners and parties to develop innovative projects to do the next step in green hydrogen.
And I think your activity was growing in the last years. And what are the needs? What do people ask you? What they need from you, especially?
After 10 years, it's really specific, I would say, and also the competences of the partners are really specific. So also, we are not talking about buses, etc. We are talking about industry. That means chemistry and petrochemistry industries. And so there are a lot of competent or partners who are looking for some mechanical companies or some other engineer stuffs. And this is really specific, and we try to put this really together and to combine this really together. And they're also asking who's doing this job in the future. This is what I would already want to try to start some minutes ago. We just need only the academic people. We also need the simple workers, I would say. And this is also the next step. We try to consult our partners in the area to find the right workers in this area to do the job.
Are there also association or agencies like Hypos bringing together the industry and the research in the other regions?
Just once I didn't get the question, or was it for me?
Yeah, just I'm wondering if in the other regions, in the Rhenish coal region or in Lusatia, if there are also associations like HYPOS, who's bringing together really the research and the industry, and who's helping to network.
Yeah, of course, you know Carsten Krause from High Cologne, for example. We are very close to each other. They are a bit older than HYPOS is. I think and I learned 15 years High Cologne is existing. It's almost 10 years of HYPOS. And in the last, I would say, 2-3 years, a lot of more network associations started with some different focus. Not sometimes very locally, but sometimes as in our job as HYPOS, we also need this combination between Saxony-Anhalt and Thuringia, for example. But I would say in every Bundesland there's minimum one association trying to do this job.
Yeah. Do you agree, Mr. Keller?
Yeah, I agree, of course, completely. High Cologne was already mentioned, so this has been covered, but I think I can also mention that we then have, again, additional initiatives, then maybe focus a little bit more on a specific region. So we have the Hydrogen Hub in Aachen, for example, which connects industry and research here on a local level. Yeah, so many different initiatives. High Cologne is definitely very important one, and I think I can stop with this.
Yeah, we have concerning the first question, the same person would like to get a little bit deeper in the subject. There's a special question to two people, one from Mr. Zwaszka and one from Mr. Robert Keller. Mr. Robert Keller, could you explain more to mention how the efficiency of heat recovery is? Could you explain more to mention how the efficiency of heat recovery is? Is it applicable to implement in the commercial part?
Well, I think at the moment I cannot give you an exact number for a specific process here. And if you are very much interested in this topic, I would invite you to send me an email and I will connect you to our research partners who are actually working on these questions. So I do not want to speak for them, but as Mr. Zwaszka mentioned, the high temperature electrolysis is especially promising in this regard. And we have collaborations, for example, with Forschungszentrum Jülich, who have a long expertise in this technology field, and I'm happy to connect you with them. Yeah,
it's a good idea. So I invite you to connect. Mr. Robert Keller is also in the list of the speakers. You will find them there. And the second question goes to Mr. Zwaszka. What is your suggestion to recover heat at 70 degrees Celsius?
At 70 degrees centigrade. Well, so already existing technology uses this heat, for example, to preheat educts. So this is a way in which this type of waste heat often is used. So for example, you run an electrolyzer at, say, 60 to 80 degrees centigrade, and the waste heat that comes out of the products can be recovered and used to preheat the educts. So this is one way in which you can make the entire process more efficient. Other than that, I will also I cannot give you a specific answer. So there are integrated home solutions. I don't want to advertise a particular company right now, but you can buy integrated hydrogen solutions for your home in which this sort of heat is also used for heating purposes in the house. So there are few use cases, but yeah, not enough for me to give a lecture on.
Yeah, I think it will be the same. Like for the other question, feel free to contact the persons. They are all in the speakers list, and you can get in contact with them directly, and maybe there's somebody who can answer this specific questions. Just looking for if there are other specific questions. We had a little small technical problem with what was being resolved. Which of those universities in your regions which you could recommend to an investor when you get a CV from somebody? Which university should be mentioned, and then the person know this is a guy who heard about something about hydrogen. What are the most famous universities in your region, technical universities linked to hydrogen? In Lusatia, I'm here. I'm in one of these these universities actually.
I mean, this is sort of a stretch if you say, well, not entirely. Dresden and Berlin are sort of on the outskirts of Lusatia, so these certainly are the bigger universities in the area. Not gonna lie here. So Dresden Technical University certainly is a good player, but the Berlin universities, Max Planck and Fraunhofer institutes in both cities are powerful and good players in this region. But also to mention the smaller ones. So Cottbus, the BTU certainly is a well-versed in hydrogen, as well as a even smaller player in Zittau and Görlitz, the Hochschule. But the biggest players certainly are in the bigger cities.
Yeah, but I'm actually here in Cottbus, and I'm very impressed because there's a lot of new buildings. Professor Dr. Möllenkamp just said in the session that they have about 6,500 students, and 2,500 of them come from abroad. They're from Iran. They're from everywhere. So it's they're from all over the world. So it's quite really interesting. How about in the central German co-region? Are there universities just in the middle? Weimar, but also Leipzig, if I'm right?
Yes, in Thuringia are also universities, but there are smaller than in the big cities. But they are special in their focus. The Bauhaus University is in the building sector a good name, and we think about these infrastructure systems, but the Technical University Ilmenau is very good in the electrotechnical themes, and there are many other universities like Friedrich Schiller University Jena. There I like to name the IPHT, the Leibniz Institute for Photonic Technology. They are also in this hydrogen theme active. Yes, and I think Florian Tam knows also about the activities in Leipzig or Halle, yeah, or Chemnitz, for example. That's all the region.
Yeah, thanks, Sebastian. The Leipzig University of Applied Science is a very strong partner in the last years in different R&D projects. So I would like to highlight this one. Also, the university in Magdeburg, almost neighborhood to Leipzig and Halle, is also a strong partner in our last years in different R&D projects we did. So maybe these are two universities I would like to highlight. Even you find a university in Halle. Yeah. That's the mixture, I would say.
Yeah, this seems to be something special for the Central German co-region, that there are a couple of small but very specialized and famous universities nearly everywhere, if I understood right. Yeah, but on the other hand, in the Rhenish region, there are more bigger universities.
I guess this is my keyword. Yes, so very close by. I think they have been mentioned before in the plenary sessions. We have RWTH University, of course, and Forschungszentrum Jülich with expertise in hydrogen technologies. But if we look, let's say at state level, of course, there are many more which should be mentioned, and I do not want to forget any names here, but just to give some few examples, we have, of course, University of Duisburg-Essen, which is also in close proximity to the Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Center, so there's hydrogen expertise there. We have the Ruhr University Bochum, which has, for example, also core competencies in fundamental electrochemistry, and many more. The list is long. And in this sense, also, we are happy to connect. So we have at university level one contact in our so-called hydrogen center, and he knows the people who are relevant in hydrogen at university level, but also, of course, in our network of partners. So if you are interested and you have a specific need, please get in touch with us, and we are happy to connect you to the relevant experts in our region and state.
Yeah. There are actually no furthermore questions. They all seem to listen to us, really interested, but they are shy to ask a question or something like that. I don't know. Or they get all the information during our discussions. And we have nearly finished our session. So would you like to give a final message to the people regarding the research and education in your region? Who would like to start?
I can start.
Yes,
I will
please.
just repeat my mantra from before. I think hydrogen has been around and gas handling technologies for a long time, and you can contribute nearly from every technological trait or studies. And if just put in the work, the effort, the passion, and follow the way that you would like to, yeah, you can contribute to hydrogen, and it's a dynamic, exciting topic where you can contribute something good, and it really is a fun and great topic with lots of opportunities, and you won't fail and regret a career in this sector.
Thank you, Mr. Zwetschka. Somebody from the Central German co-region?
Yeah, I would say green hydrogen is economic power, and that we shouldn't forget. And our guests are invited to Central Germany, to our partners, to get in touch with them and to participate.
Mr. Büttner?
I think it's also important to connect between all players and networks we have in Germany. But only if we work together, we can bring it to success in hydrogen technologies.
And the last word goes to the Rhenish region.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, I can only repeat, working in the field of hydrogen or green hydrogen is so motivating these days, and we hope that we can find many more interested partners in joining us on this journey. We want to be fast and quick, and I can only join Mr. Büttner in saying we need to work together, and we will use our networks and want to be fast in making this transition possible. And on the research and education level, you I think heard many aspects of our different regions, what we can contribute. And a very important aspect for us is really always connecting the research and the education. And maybe to close with this, we always have this in mind, how we can transfer not only our scientific and technological developments to the industry, but also the knowledge and the expertise which we want to pass on to the younger generation, but also to the industry. And we, in our, I guess the other regions also have a lot of opportunities to join. And once again, a warm welcome to get in touch.
Yeah, thank you very much. It will be really difficult for an investor to choose because all the regions have very good research and education. So thank you very much to all the participants. I would like to remember that there will be a second live stream this afternoon from 5 p.m. European time. And after this this live stream, there will be again 3 breakout sessions, 3 question answer sessions, one about the infrastructure, one about the funding, and another one about research and education. So if you have missed something right now, or if you would like to ask a question and you hadn't time today, now, then you can do it also this evening from 7:45 until 8:30 European time, but the different time zones are indicated at the platform gtae.live. Thank you very much. Thank you to all the participants. And because we are at 12:30 here in Germany, just enjoy your meal. Good appetite. Thank you very much for being with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.